I do know is he's going to do speech very well. Because he started his first icebreaker speech like a seasoned pro. And although I wanted to continue coming to Toastmasters, I honestly don't know why he's here. But we love him here. Would you please welcome Jarret?
I was late, but tonight is, it's called Developing the Want to Become the Total Athlete, and it's aimed at athletes, specifically university athletes that I work with at Simon Fraser. So, thank you. Welcome everyone. As you heard, my name is Jarret Wall, and I'm part of an organization called Athletes in Action. Simply put, we build successful athletes, successful sports people, by developing the total athlete. So when you think of the total athlete, when you think of those words, just stop for a second and think, what comes to mind? Picture that, picture the total athlete. Often, that probably is something, this perfectly sculpted body, physically talented person in a Nike ad somewhere, on a billboard or in a commercial. However, the total athlete is much more than that, not just physical. With Athletes in Action, we like to think of it in sort of 4 different ways. So 1 is physical, 2, mental, 3, emotional, and 4, spiritual. In sports, we often only focus on the physical, so lifting weights or executing a play precisely, doing a certain skill, or eating right. However, there's more elements that can help give you the extra edge. I'm going to share about the next few minutes about these elements and how Athletes in Action can serve as a catalyst in order to help you succeed and help you achieve that next edge. So first I said physical. Well, since that's kind of the main focus of pretty much all sports people, I'm going to move on beyond that. It's well covered. However, the second one I said is mental. So in relation to your in-competition performance, there's way more than just being able to physically perform like a 40-meter sprint in 4.5 seconds or a 100-meter sprint in 10 seconds or something. You have to actually be able to put it together on the field or in competition when it matters. So, you can think of a person who's crazy talented and they're out on the field, but they just don't really care. They know they're really good and everyone says you should do it, but they don't care. Or then there's the person who is really talented and they do care, but when they get on the field, they just can't put it together. They just fold under the pressure. They can do it in practice, but they can't do it in the game. Kind of makes me think of a guy named Roberto Luongo, who only recently gave up 3 goals in 4 shots and was pulled from the game. However, this guy is supposed to be one of the best in the world. He helped to win Canada's Olympic gold medal just a year and a bit ago, and he's an icon. And with taking the Canucks to the finals of the Stanley Cup. But the question is, what's he going to do to bounce back? How is he going to overcome these past trials and this adversity he's been facing? In Athletes in Action, we'll be running a weekly DVD series focusing on topics like pressure, motivation, goal setting, overcoming adversity, and it features different professional athletes and university athletes and kind of in combination with sports psychologists. The second area I mentioned was the emotional side of the athlete. So since everyone here is a student athlete, there's a lot of pressures and a lot of difficulties. So it's a tougher job than just being a student who's not competing in sports full-time or an athlete who's not in school full-time. You got both of these. And so on top of your daily training regimen, you have things like dealing with the social scene on campus and parties. You have classes, obviously. You're creating a new group of friends, a home away from home, and maybe even finding a new girlfriend, something like that. However, what happens when that new girlfriend dumps you and you put all that effort into it? Or what happens when you get a season-ending injury? What happens when something really serious happens? Unfortunately, and tomorrow is actually more than a Remembrance Day of past veterans. It's a Remembrance Day of a star quarterback who died 2 years ago at Simon Fraser. He was a quarterback named Burton Dietrich. He was the starting quarterback, and he died suddenly of a heart failure. And it's crazy, and it happened. However, what happens with the teammates and with guys who are super close to him, they don't have anyone to talk to and anyone to kind of work through those things. The coaches care, but they often just don't have the time. And so at Athletes in Action, we're here to provide a support network for athletes, almost kind of a family away from home. As a staff person, you'll see me meeting with your teammates over coffee or maybe a one-on-one meeting. Sometimes it's because we're going through a certain material and kind of developing, or sometimes it's just to meet together just to talk about life, kind of support, kind of give some life coaching. And me being someone that can understand the environment that you're in, but I'm not necessarily on the coaching staff or on the playing staff, so I'm kind of inside of it, but I'm outside of it. So if that interests you, I'm happy to meet with you anytime if the need arises. Just text or call me. So the third element I mentioned was the spiritual side. So by spiritual, I don't just mean religious needs or affiliations. I mean, some of you may not even have a religious affiliation. That's fine. What I'm referring to is how are you dealing with the bigger picture? How are you dealing with the internal quest for things like destiny, intimacy, meaning? Are you striving and stretching and straining just for the here and now? Or is there something bigger beyond that you can be working towards? Something bigger that will give you some purpose? As you may know, Athletes in Action is an interdenominational Christian organization. It's affiliated with a group called Power to Change Ministries, which focuses on exclusively spiritual growth and well-being. However, as I talked about, we're focusing on the total athlete. And so we're here to provide a safe place for the people of sports to explore these spiritual topics that I've mentioned in a context that you can share with other athletes, people who understand what's going on. Often the question is asked, can faith and sports actually be integrated? Can a personal relationship with God actually tangibly benefit your performance in the competition? Can it make a difference? For me personally, I found the answer to be a resounding yes. I competed in varsity athletics for 5 years in Edmonton, and I found it to be the best years of my life after I was able to sort out those things, those types of questions, and after I got involved with Athletes in Action. And so there are various ways for you to explore these spiritual topics, maybe over coffee, discussion group, Bible study, or we have a weekly meeting called Athletes in Action Monday nights, where God, life, and sports unite. So again, at Athletes in Action, we're here to care about the total athlete, not just physical, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and provide that extra edge that maybe you're searching for as an athlete. I'd ask you to take the next minute or so to fill out this comment card, include any thoughts you have or sign up for any activities that we have going on, and any other ones that you think of on your own, just feel free to write it down on there. So again, I hope we can be catalysts in your journey to becoming a total athlete. Thanks.